Have you ever wondered why some people remain calm while everyone else is overwhelmed? Why do they smile through hardship, stay peaceful during chaos, and refuse to let life's storms control them? What if happiness isn't something you find, but something you practice every single day? Stay with me until the end, because one of these habits could completely change the way you see your life forever. Happiness has become one of the most misunderstood goals in modern life. We chase more money, more success, more recognition, and more approval, believing that each achievement will finally bring us lasting peace. Yet countless people who seem to have everything still feel empty inside. The Stoic philosophers understood this truth over 2,000 years ago. They believed that happiness is not built by controlling the world around us but by mastering the world within us. Every peaceful person you admire has developed invisible habits that protect their mind from fear, anxiety, anger, and disappointment. These habits aren't reserved for philosophers or monks. They are simple principles that anyone can practice. Today, you'll discover the 9 Stoic habits shared by the happiest people, and if you apply even a few of them consistently, your life may never feel the same again. The first habit is accepting what cannot be controlled. Most people spend an astonishing amount of emotional energy fighting reality without even realizing it. They replay painful conversations over and over in their minds, wishing they had said something different. They lose sleep worrying about futures that haven't happened yet, hoping they can somehow control the unknown. They become frustrated when people refuse to understand them, when opportunities disappear, or when life unfolds in ways they never expected. But the more they resist what has already happened, the heavier their hearts become. Stoicism teaches a timeless truth: much of our suffering is not created by the event itself, but by our refusal to accept it. The happiest people recognize a powerful distinction. They know they cannot control the weather, the economy, the choices of other people, the passing of time, or the unexpected twists of fate. They stop exhausting themselves trying to command the uncontrollable because they understand that peace begins where resistance ends. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" they calmly ask, "What is this situation asking of me?" That simple question changes everything. It transforms confusion into clarity, fear into courage, and frustration into quiet strength. Imagine standing in the middle of a storm, desperately trying to stop the wind with your bare hands. No matter how hard you struggle, the storm continues, and all you achieve is exhaustion. This is exactly what happens when we fight reality. The happiest people choose a different path. They don't deny pain or pretend difficult moments don't exist. They acknowledge disappointment, feel their emotions without letting those emotions control their decisions, and then direct their energy toward the only thing that truly belongs to them: their character and their actions. Every setback becomes an opportunity to practice patience. Every criticism becomes a chance to strengthen emotional resilience. Every unexpected challenge becomes another lesson in self-mastery. Acceptance is not weakness, surrender, or giving up on your dreams. It is the wisdom to stop wasting your peace on battles you were never meant to win. When you finally stop arguing with reality, you discover something remarkable: the energy you once spent resisting life can now be used to build a stronger, calmer, and happier version of yourself. That is why those who master acceptance often appear unshakable, not because life is easier for them, but because they have learned the rare art of remaining peaceful even when life refuses to go according to plan. The second habit is guarding the mind from unnecessary negativity. Every single day, your mind is being influenced by countless voices competing for your attention. Social media fills your screen with carefully edited lives that make you question your own progress. News headlines are designed to capture fear, outrage, and anxiety because strong emotions keep people watching. Gossip spreads faster than truth, and criticism, whether deserved or not, can linger in your thoughts for days. Without realizing it, many people allow these outside influences to dictate their mood, confidence, and even their sense of self-worth. The Stoics understood that the mind is like a garden. Whatever seeds you water, whether they are fear, anger, gratitude, or wisdom, will eventually shape the person you become. The happiest people refuse to let negativity take root. They are intentional about what they watch, who they listen to, and what conversations they choose to participate in because they know that every thought repeated often enough becomes part of their character. Think of your mind as the front door to your home. You wouldn't allow every stranger to walk inside and rearrange your furniture, yet many people allow every opinion, every insult, and every piece of bad news to settle comfortably in their thoughts. Happy people set healthy boundaries around their mental space. They quietly walk away from meaningless drama, avoid conversations fueled by envy and resentment, and choose learning over endless complaining. They replace hours of mindless scrolling with books, meaningful conversations, reflection, or moments of silence that restore clarity. This doesn't mean ignoring reality or pretending problems don't exist. It means refusing to give unnecessary negativity free rent inside your mind. The more carefully you protect your inner world, the more resilient you become against the chaos of the outside world. Peace is not found by controlling everything around you, it is found by deciding what deserves a place within you. Once you stop giving every voice permission to live inside your head, you create room for wisdom, confidence, and the quiet happiness that no outside noise can steal. The third habit is becoming emotionally unshakable. Life will test you in ways you never expect. Someone you trusted may let you down. A carefully planned opportunity can disappear overnight. You may face criticism when you've done your best, or experience setbacks that seem unfair despite all your effort. These moments are unavoidable, but what separates peaceful people from everyone else is not the absence of hardship, it's the way they respond to it. Most people react instantly, allowing anger, fear, disappointment, or frustration to take control of their words and actions. Later, they regret the decisions made in the heat of emotion. Stoicism teaches a different path. It reminds us that emotions are natural visitors, but they should never become permanent rulers of our lives. The happiest people understand that every emotional storm eventually passes, so they refuse to make lifelong decisions based on temporary feelings. They know that true strength is measured not by how loudly you react, but by how calmly you remain when everything around you feels uncertain. Imagine your emotions as waves crashing against the shore. Some are gentle, while others are powerful enough to shake everything in their path. You cannot stop the waves from coming, but you can choose not to let them carry you away. Emotionally unshakable people have mastered the art of creating a pause between what happens to them and how they respond. In that brief moment, they breathe deeply, observe their thoughts without judgment, and ask themselves, will this reaction help me tomorrow, or will it create another problem? That small pause is where wisdom is born. It transforms anger into patience, fear into courage, and disappointment into resilience. They still feel sadness, frustration, and heartbreak, they are fully human, but they refuse to let those emotions dictate their character or determine their future. Over time, this quiet discipline becomes their greatest strength. While others are tossed around by every criticism, every failure, and every unexpected challenge, they remain grounded like a mountain standing firm against the fiercest storm. That is why the happiest people aren't those who experience fewer emotions, they are the ones who have learned that mastering their reactions is the truest form of freedom. The fourth habit is practicing gratitude before chasing more. Modern life constantly whispers the same message, you are not enough yet. It convinces us that happiness is always waiting somewhere in the future, after a promotion, a bigger house, a higher income, the perfect relationship, or another milestone. Every achievement is quickly replaced by a new desire, creating a cycle where satisfaction never lasts. The more people compare themselves to others, the more they overlook the incredible blessings already present in their own lives. Stoicism warns against this endless pursuit because desire without gratitude becomes a trap. No matter how much you gain, it will never feel like enough if your heart is always focused on what is missing. The happiest people break free from this illusion. They understand that real wealth is not measured by how much you own, but by how deeply you appreciate what you already have. Before asking life for more, they take a moment to recognize the gifts that many people overlook every single day. Imagine waking up each morning and viewing your life through the eyes of someone who had lost everything yesterday. Suddenly, the simple things become extraordinary. The ability to breathe deeply, to walk, to spend time with loved ones, to learn something new, to watch the sunrise, or simply to have another chance to improve yourself no longer feels ordinary, it feels priceless. This is the mindset the Stoics cultivated. They regularly reflected on what they already possessed, knowing that appreciation creates abundance while constant comparison creates emptiness. Gratitude doesn't make people lazy or destroy ambition. Instead, it transforms the journey. You still work hard, pursue meaningful goals, and strive to become better, but your happiness is no longer postponed until some distant future. Every step forward becomes something to enjoy rather than a race you can never finish. When your heart is rooted in gratitude, success becomes sweeter, setbacks become easier to endure, and life itself begins to feel richer. The happiest people aren't those who have everything they want, they are the ones who have learned to cherish everything they already have while continuing to grow with purpose and humility. The fifth habit is embracing discomfort instead of avoiding it. Most people spend their lives searching for the easiest path. They avoid difficult conversations because they fear conflict. They delay important work because discipline feels uncomfortable. They shy away from rejection because they fear failure, and they choose temporary comfort over long-term growth without realizing the price they are paying. At first, this seems harmless, but over time, every avoided challenge quietly becomes a weakness. Confidence doesn't disappear overnight, it fades every time we choose comfort instead of courage. The Stoics understood this better than most. They believed that a life built on constant comfort eventually creates a fragile mind, while a life that willingly faces challenges develops strength that cannot be taken away. That is why they practiced voluntary hardship, not to suffer for the sake of suffering, but to remind themselves that they were stronger than their fears. They knew that true happiness doesn't come from avoiding life's difficulties, it comes from becoming the kind of person who can face them with calm determination. Think of a blacksmith forging a sword. The metal doesn't become strong by resting in a safe place. It must endure intense heat, repeated strikes, and relentless pressure before it becomes something powerful and reliable. Human character is formed in exactly the same way. Every difficult conversation teaches courage. Every early morning spent working toward a goal builds discipline. Every rejection strengthens resilience, and every setback carries a lesson that success could never teach. The happiest people don't pray for easier lives, they focus on building stronger minds capable of handling whatever life places before them. They stop asking, "Why is this so hard?" and begin asking, "What is this challenge trying to teach me?" That single shift transforms obstacles into opportunities for growth. The struggle you avoid today often becomes the limitation you face tomorrow, but the discomfort you embrace today becomes the strength that protects you for years to come. In the end, the greatest rewards in life rarely belong to those who seek comfort, they belong to those who have the courage to walk through discomfort, knowing that every step is shaping them into someone wiser, stronger, and truly unshakable. The sixth habit is choosing silence over unnecessary conflict. The sixth habit is choosing silence over unnecessary conflict. In today's world, people often feel pressured to defend themselves against every accusation, respond to every negative comment, and prove they are right in every disagreement. Social media has only intensified this habit, convincing us that every opinion deserves a reaction and every criticism demands an answer. But the Stoics saw this as a dangerous trap. They understood that every argument costs something: your time, your energy, your emotional balance, and sometimes even your peace of mind. The happiest people recognize that not every battle is worth fighting. They don't feel the need to explain themselves to those who have already decided to misunderstand them, nor do they waste precious energy trying to change minds that have no intention of listening. They understand that true confidence is quiet. It doesn't beg for validation or seek approval from strangers. It simply continues doing what is right, regardless of who applauds or criticizes. Imagine standing before a lake on a calm morning. The surface is perfectly still, reflecting the sky with breathtaking clarity. Throw a single stone into the water, and the reflection instantly disappears beneath countless ripples. Our minds work the same way. Every unnecessary argument, every pointless debate, and every emotional reaction disturbs our inner peace. Emotionally wise people protect that stillness. They know that not every criticism deserves a response, not every insult requires revenge, and not every disagreement needs to become a personal war. Sometimes people provoke others simply because they want attention or conflict, and responding only gives them exactly what they were seeking. The Stoics believe that silence is not weakness, it is disciplined strength. It is the ability to remain in control when others are trying to pull you into chaos. Often, the strongest statement you can make is the one you never say. When your actions consistently reflect your values, your life speaks louder than any argument ever could. The seventh habit is treating time as life's greatest treasure. The seventh habit is treating time as life's greatest treasure. Most people carefully protect their money, their possessions, and their investments, yet they give away their time without a second thought. Hours disappear through endless scrolling, meaningless entertainment, unnecessary worries, and conversations that add nothing to their lives. Days quietly become months, and months become years before they realize how much of their life has slipped away unnoticed. The Stoics constantly reminded themselves that life is temporary, and that every sunrise is one fewer than they had yesterday. Rather than creating fear, this awareness filled them with purpose. They understood that time is the only resource that can never be recovered. Money lost can be earned again. Opportunities may return. Broken possessions can be replaced. But a single wasted hour is gone forever. The happiest people never forget this truth. They measure the value of a day not by how busy they were, but by whether they spent their time on what truly mattered. Imagine receiving a bank account every morning filled with exactly 86,400 seconds. By midnight, whatever remains disappears forever, and no amount of wealth, power, or influence can recover even one lost second. This is the invisible gift every human receives each day. Happy people understand its value. They invest their time wisely, learning new skills, strengthening meaningful relationships, improving their character, pursuing worthwhile goals, and creating memories that outlive possessions. They are careful about who they spend time with because they know that every conversation, habit, and commitment shapes the direction of their lives. They stop postponing joy until, someday, and begin living intentionally in the present moment. When you truly respect time, you naturally begin respecting yourself. You become more selective about your priorities, more grateful for each opportunity, and more determined to build a life that reflects your deepest values. In the end, a meaningful life is not measured by how many years you lived, but by how wisely you used the precious moments you were given. The eighth habit is refusing to depend on external validation. One of the greatest prisons in modern society is living for other people's approval. Many people shape their decisions around likes, compliments, praise, and recognition. But the Stoics warned that depending on outside validation means giving strangers control over your happiness. Truly happy people measure themselves by their own values rather than public opinion. They celebrate quiet progress that no one notices. They continue improving even when nobody applauds. Their confidence comes from integrity, knowing they remained faithful to their principles even when the world wasn't watching. Finally, the greatest Stoic habit is understanding that happiness is not a reward waiting somewhere in the future, it is something you create through the choices you make every single day. Many people spend their lives believing happiness will finally arrive when they earn more money, find the perfect relationship, buy a bigger home, or achieve one more goal. They keep postponing joy, convinced that fulfillment always lies just beyond the next milestone. But when they reach that destination, another desire quickly takes its place, and the cycle begins again. The Stoics rejected this endless chase. They believed that happiness is not something the world gives to you, it is something your character produces from within. It is built quietly through ordinary moments that often go unnoticed. Every time you choose patience instead of anger, gratitude instead of complaint, courage instead of fear, discipline instead of comfort, and wisdom instead of impulse, you are laying another stone in the foundation of a peaceful and meaningful life. These small decisions may seem insignificant in the moment, but repeated consistently, they shape the person you become and determine the quality of your life far more than any external success ever could. Imagine two people walking through the same storm. One spends the entire journey cursing the rain, blaming the wind, and wishing reality were different. The other cannot stop the storm either, but they adjust their steps, protect their direction, and keep moving forward with quiet determination. Both experience the same circumstances, yet their inner worlds are completely different. This is the heart of Stoicism. The happiest people are not the luckiest, the wealthiest, or those who have been spared hardship. They are the ones who have trained their minds so thoroughly that external chaos no longer dictates their inner peace. They understand that life will always include uncertainty, disappointment, and unexpected challenges, but they also know that their greatest power lies in how they choose to respond. They don't wait for perfect conditions before allowing themselves to be happy. Instead, they carry peace with them wherever they go because it comes from within, not from the world around them. In the end, happiness is not discovered by changing everyone else, controlling every circumstance, or waiting for life to become easier. It is found by changing yourself, one thought, one habit, and one courageous decision at a time. So now the question is, which of these Stoic habits will you begin practicing today, and how different could your life look 1 year from now if you stayed consistent? A peaceful life is not built by escaping life's storms, but by becoming the kind of person who can walk through every storm without losing inner calm. If this message inspired you, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs this reminder today. Remember, every day is another opportunity to train your mind, strengthen your character, and build a life guided by wisdom rather than circumstance. Until next time, stay strong, stay disciplined, and keep walking the Stoic path.